Hey, Okie Dingo here. Happy New Year's. So, Sony has finally decided to release a Pro Controller for its PlayStation. We have been asking for this forever. However, it kind of comes with a large price tag. It is 200 USD. Where I live, it is 30,000 Japanese yen, so it's around 250 USD. It's quite expensive for a controller. It's about half the price of a PS5 console. So I thought, why don't I try to make my own DualSense Edge and see if I can do it cheaper. And actually you can do this yourself for about half the price of what the DualSense Edge is, and you're gonna have probably 90% of the functionality that it has. So yep, this is the controller that I built in front of you. As you can tell, it looks just like the DualSense Edge. So let's get into the review of this. Alright, so here is my DualSense Edge themed controller, and as you can see, I have the black D-pad, black touchpad, and black buttons. I have kept the share and menu button white because that's how it is on the DualSense Edge. So the way I went about this was I wanted them to look official. So it's still going to have the little triangles in the D-pad, and it's going to have the square, triangle, circle, and cross buttons. And I did that by getting a broken DualSense controller, a black one, and I took the parts off. So something to know if you are going to go this route. The touchpad, not all touchpad circuit boards are exactly the same. I tried with another one just swapping it over, but I actually had to swap the board off, and it's very easy. You just heat it up with a hairdryer and then just put the little blue pry tool that comes with your kit and just really carefully pull it up, and it comes right off. Then I used some alcohol to get the glue off and use some new double-sided tape. It's very easy. If you don't want to go through the process of getting a used broken controller, because sometimes they're hard to find, Extreme Rate actually sells a kit which comes with the D-pad, touchpad, the buttons. It comes with the share and the menu button as well, and replacement L1, R1, L2, R2 buttons. And you would still need to change over the touchpad. Like I said, the process is very easy. So they sell that kit for $34.99, and I will have links to everything to build this yourself down in the description. Alright, so the next thing we did was we added the interchangeable sticks, just like the DualSense Edge has. So I can pop these off, and Extreme Rate gives you a little case which comes with a couple different options in there. So you have domed ones, and you have the regular ones. So these are going to be quite a lot taller. So I can put this on there. There's some little tabs, if you can see in there, and they line up with the tabs on here. It's super simple. You push down. So now I can have different height sticks, and you can change around. You can have domed on one side, you can have concave on the other. It is whatever you want. So just like on the DualSense Edge controller, where these they swap out and they give you a couple different options. For that kit, it is $14.99 right now, and once again, links will be in the description for that. Alright, now we're to the meat and potatoes of this build, which is the Extreme Rate RISE4 Real Metal Button Remap Kit. Let me show you that on the back here. So, this is the newest version. It just released. This is the RISE4, so it adds 4 programmable buttons onto the back, and it is made of solid metal. So you have your K1, K2, K3, and K4, and they are clickable. And they have a really nice feel to them. This button right here in the middle is the programming button, so that's what you hold down to go into a programming mode. And this little hole, if you can see, that is the reset for your controller. So all DualSenses actually have that little hole on it, and that just facilitates pushing that if you did need to reset your controller. So with this kit, you can program any of the buttons on this controller minus the share, menu, or PS button. You can only map one button at a time to each one of these paddles, so you can't do macros. You can't add two buttons to the same one, but you can add any of them to these buttons, and it feels absolutely great in the hand. So while you're holding it, it is where your fingers just kind of naturally sit, and they're firm enough that you're not just going to push it by accident, but it's not so firm that it's gonna like fatigue your fingers. So then the other ones are pretty easy too. You just slide them up and you can feel these little row of nubs right here, so you know you're on the button, and they feel absolutely great. So the kit itself is fairly easy in my opinion to install. I've probably done about 10 of these, and I've gotten it down to about a half hour. So the soldering is it's very simple. There's only 4 spots you need to solder, and all of those spots are completely optional. So if you know that you will never map the touchpad or never map the L3 and R3 buttons, you actually do not have to solder, and then it would just be a drop-in kit, and it would take even less time. But like I said, the soldering that you do is very simple, and the kit has been made so it is very, very simple. I have a video of when I've done this before for the whole entire build, but actually I think Extreme Rate's video is extremely well made, so I'm going to link that in the description, and I highly suggest that if you're going to do this build that you just follow along with their installation. So the price on this kit is $52.99. So if you were to get all these things and make your own DualSense Edge controller, it's going to cost you, at the current price right now, $102.97 if you use the Amazon. That's the current prices. Obviously they may go down, but I don't think they would go up from there. So as an added bonus, I also added some Clicky buttons. So these Clicky buttons, I don't believe it's going to be on the DualSense Edge because they haven't said anything, so this is kind of an optional thing. But what this does is it turns the buttons more into mouse clicks than the push of the standard kind of membrane, which is kind of a little bit mushy when you push it down. So if you can hear, all the buttons now have been turned into mouse click buttons. Versus, let me grab this other DualSense I have, and if you hear the way they normally feel, where you just kind of push it down and it makes a little, like a thud, these are Clicky. Now, to be honest, at first I wasn't sure if I was gonna like these, but actually, upon using them, I really liked them. I was afraid maybe for platformers or something it wasn't going to be good, but I wanted to 100% on Astro, so I did all the speed run missions yesterday with this controller, and it was absolutely great. So yeah, if you wanted to add on that kit, that would be $16.99, so you'd be at a grand total of $119.96. So $120 to get a Pro controller. That's way cheaper than any scuffs, any of the other ones on the market, and it's half the price of a DualSense Edge. A little bit more half in the region that I'm in. So I think this is absolutely great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use this kit, and then I will show you in a game just how it works. Alright, so for this kit to go into mapping mode, you have to have your DualSense controller on, so that means your PlayStation has to be on and powered, which you can see I have a little light on right now. Should be able to see that. I'm actually going to turn one of my lights off to make it a little bit easier to see the mapping button. So on the back here, you have the program button, and then you have this little window. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold down this program button. for a couple seconds. It's like 3 long seconds, and a little red light will show up in this window. So you should be able to see, it might be a little bit difficult, but there is a red LED right there in the center. So that tells us that we are in mapping mode. In person, the LED is fairly easy to see. It just looks a little bit harder to see on camera. So if we wanted to map, let's say we want to map cross to to K2, this is the one that I like to put it on. What we're going to do is you're going to hold down that paddle, and then you're going to press your cross and watch the little window, and it flashed really quickly. That means that you have mapped a button. If it flashes slow, it means you have unmapped it. So let's do the same exact combination. We'll hold that one and we'll hit cross. And you see it flashed slow. So that tells me right now that nothing is programmed to that. So let's put it back on. We got the quick flashes. Let's put circle over here. So we hold the paddle, we hit circle, we get the flashes. Let's put square over here, and let's put triangle over here. And we got all our flashes. So the main thing to know right now is if you tried to use this kit with this little red light on, it's not going to work because it is still in programming mode. So this was a big problem with the DualShock 4 kit. They had a capacitive touch programming button. So you would lay the controller down on your leg and you would essentially be pushing the capacitive button, and it would go into programming mode, and then all of a sudden none of the paddles were working. So I really like that they've gone back to a physical button, because as cool as it was to have that button, it was hidden. Functionality, it just wasn't great. So what we'll do is we'll hold this button down for a couple seconds. So now my little LED is gone. So now we are in regular mode. So now I can use the controller all I want. So if I go on the screen when I'm pushing these buttons, it is opening and closing all the applications on my PlayStation right now. So if you wanted to, let's just say, clear them all at the same time, let's go back into mapping mode. So if I wanted to just kind of wipe them out instead of having to do them one by one, you can hold up, left, triangle, circle, L1, R1. So this diagonal, and then let's watch our light. Okay, so right now what I did was I wiped all of the combinations that I had on here. So now none of these are mapped. So if I go out of program, oh, it actually takes you out of programming mode. Now none of these are mapped. So on my screen, nothing is happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some buttons back on here. I'm going to jump into a game and I'm going to show you how well it works. Alright, so here I am in game. This is Horizon Zero Dawn. I know I still have not finished this game, but I'm going to finish it because I now have the new one that I traded codes with, Ragnarok for Horizon. So I am going to finish this game. But that's besides the point. We're going to talk about the functionality of this controller. So what I have right now is I have cross mapped to this one, circle mapped to this one, square to this one, and the touchpad to this one. So I will show you how they work, and there is zero delay between the back buttons and the face buttons. So if you see, I'm pushing cross, and Alloy is jumping, and it is exactly the same. There's no difference. Let's do circle. So absolutely no difference. There's no delays or anything like that. Here's square. And then touchpad. So So this setup would allow you to play this whole game essentially without taking your hands off of your sticks. So in RPGs and games like this, it's not as necessary, you may think, because it's not competitive. However, it is so much more convenient to just have everything mapped on the back. A game like Death Stranding, where you have to constantly be pushing the triggers up here, or it's up here, I can't remember, but to stabilize yourself, I had them mapped on the back here, so I could just keep walking and I didn't have to constantly be moving. It was just way more comfortable to have them on the back. Now, for competitive shooters, obviously you will have the advantage of being able to jump, slide, roll, dodge, whatever without taking off, and also be able to move your camera at the same exact time. So yeah, also the stick height, adding the extra stick height makes the joystick more sensitive. So yeah, that is the basic functionality. So pretty much this is the same as the DualSense. You can map on the fly, just like in the DualSense, I believe you can. The only difference is that that one has stick modules that will come in and out, and they're replaceable. However, you know, you can still desolder and fix these stick modules. So all right, let's go into the final thoughts on this controller. All right, so let's get into the final thoughts. So of all the Extreme Rate modded controllers that I built, I think I built about 10 of them. This is by far my favorite one. I really like the aesthetics of the black touchpad and the black buttons, just like the DualSense Edge. When I looked at that, I was like, oh man, that just makes sense. It looks really nice. It's nice to have these changeable sticks, and also the clicky buttons. At first I was not sure if I was going to like them, but I really do. They feel absolutely great. And then the RISE kit. So I've been using Extreme Rate kits, like I said, for a very long time, and they just function great. I have never had a single problem with any of the kits that I've built, and I haven't had any feedback about any of the kits that I've built breaking or anything like that. So they are very high quality. There is one thing I want to say. When you are building this kit, there's a little nub on this little programming button. Mine was just a touch too long, so it was pushing the button on its own. I just had to file just a little bit of the metal down. I've reached out to Extreme Rate to let them know that I had that issue, but yeah, it is New Year, so I haven't gotten anything back yet. Also, this kit, as of right now, is only for the BDM 010 and the BDM 020. So this kit is a 20. So if you look right here, hopefully you can see, there is a gap that goes all the way across the R2 button. It just goes from side to side. If you have a 010, you will see, hopefully you can see it, there's just a triangle in this corner right here, like gap, and then it's solid over here. If you have the BDM 030, inside here you're going to see a silver spring in this corner. This little gap's going to look the same, but you're going to have a silver spring. As of right now, that controller is not compatible with this kit. However, Extreme Rate is building a kit for the 030, which is supposed to release shortly, I believe, maybe in February. So yeah, I highly suggest you guys do this kit. It is very easy to do the modification. I will have links in the description to Extreme Rate's page on how to disassemble the controller, how to install the kit, how to do the soldering, how to do everything. They make such a great video on how to do it. I could not do it better myself. So yep, in the description there's also going to be links to where you can buy every part that this controller that I built. So the black themed buttons, touchpad, the long sticks, the changeable sticks, the clicky buttons, and of course the RISE4 kit. So another thing that Extreme Rate sells is a toolkit. And I will have links to that as well. So it comes with pick tools, spudgers, it comes with a brush, screwdriver, and it comes with these really nice tweezers, which are excellent for soldering because they have a very fine tip. Also, if you didn't know, every Extreme Rate product that you buy comes with this, and it talks about your warranty. It provides a 6-month warranty period for all products. You don't have any issues. If you contact Extreme Rate about your controller, if you're having a problem, they will get back to you. So even if you make a mistake in the installation and cut the wrong cable, they will send you out free ones. They ask you to stop, let them know, and they will send you out replacements. So anyway, if you have any questions, please leave them down in the description. And I hope you guys have a great year.